Did you know that the line between autism and ADHD is often so blurry that even professionals sometimes struggle to tell them apart? If you are feeling confused about your child's unique wiring, take a deep breath. You're exactly where you need to be. We're Three Koi Fishes, a team of parents with over 80 years of combined parenting experience. We dive into pediatric guidance, research it, and share what parents really need to know. Today, we are going to look at the specific differences between autism and ADHD using the latest 2024 data from the CDC. We aren't looking for deficits here. We are looking for clarity. Because when you understand how your child's brain is wired, you can stop fighting against the current and start swimming with it. We'll cover the numbers, the specific developmental milestones you might have missed, and how to spot the difference in real life. By the end of this video, you will feel more equipped to advocate for your child. You are not alone, the data. First, let's ground ourselves in the numbers. It is easy to feel isolated when you are navigating a diagnosis, but the data tells us a different story. According to the CDC's 2024 surveillance reports, Autism Spectrum Disorder now affects about 1 in 31 children. That's 3.2% of 8-year-olds in the US. And if you have a son, you might notice these traits even more often. Boys are about 3.4 times more likely to be identified than girls. But here is where it gets interesting. ADHD is even more common. The data shows that about 11.4% of children have been diagnosed with ADHD. What's crucial for you to know as a parent is when these numbers show up. ADHD diagnoses rise significantly with age. While only about 2.4% of children are diagnosed in the preschool years, that number jumps to over 15% by the teenage years. Why does this matter? Because it hints at the first major difference we need to talk about. The timeline. Autism tends to show its unique colors very early on, often before a child's second birthday. ADHD, on the other hand, is often a slow burn that becomes more apparent as school demands increase. So, if you are looking back at your child's toddler years and wondering what you missed, let's look at the specific milestones the CDC tells us to watch for. The timeline of milestones. You are the expert on your child. You saw them every day during those early years. Let's rewind the tape. When we look at autism, the differences in wiring often appear in social communication very early. The CDC and pediatric guidelines point to specific markers. Around 6 months, we typically see social smiling and eye contact. In autistic children, this might be reduced or inconsistent. By 9 months, a key milestone is responding to their name. Does your child turn when you call them? By 12 months, we look for pointing. Not just reaching for what they want, but pointing to show you something like a plane in the sky. This is called joint attention, and it's often a primary struggle for our autistic kiddos. Now, compare that to ADHD. In those early infant and toddler stages, a child with ADHD might actually have perfectly intact social reciprocity. They smile back, they point, they share interest. Their wiring differences usually show up later, typically from age 3 onward. The CDC notes that ADHD is characterized by patterns of inattention, hyperactivity, and impulsivity that interfere with functioning or development. But here is the catch: almost all toddlers are hyperactive and impulsive. That is why ADHD is rarely diagnosed reliably before age 4 or 5. So ask yourself, did the challenges start with social connection and communication as a baby? That leans toward autism. Or did the challenges start when the world asked them to sit still, focus, and regulate their impulses in preschool? That leans toward ADHD. The why behind a behavior. Now let's go deeper. Let's talk about behaviors that look the same on the surface, but come from very different places. This is where your observation skills are critical. Take movement. Both autistic children and children with ADHD move a lot. But why? For a child with ADHD, the movement is often about seeking stimulation to keep their brain awake. They might tap a foot, squirm in their chair, or run around because their brain is craving dopamine. It's fidgeting. For an autistic child, repetitive movement, or stimming, often serves a different purpose. It's about regulation. Flapping hands when excited, rocking when overwhelmed, or spinning objects. This helps them regulate their sensory system. Remember, we want to look for neurodiversity affirming care that understands this difference. We don't want to stop the stimming if it helps your child stay calm and regulated. Let's look at focus. There is a myth that ADHD means you can't focus. Actually, ADHD brains can hyperfocus intensely on things they love: video games, Lego, a specific sport. but they struggle to shift that focus to things they find boring. Autism features something called special interests. This is a deep, passionate, and enduring interest in specific topics. It's not just that they like trains, it's that they want to categorize every type of engine, memorize the schedules, and that knowledge brings them immense joy and comfort. So, is your child jumping from activity to activity because they're seeking novelty? That's the ADHD wiring. Or are they deeply absorbed in organizing their toys in a specific order and get distressed if that order is disrupted? That is more characteristic of the autistic wiring. The social nuance. Socially, the distinction is subtle but important. A child with ADHD often understands social rules, but struggles to follow them in the moment because of impulsivity. They might interrupt not because they don't know it's rude, but because they can't hold the thought back. They might intrude on a game because they are so excited to join in. They often want to connect, but miss the mark on how to do it smoothly. An autistic child might struggle with the intuitive understanding of the social rules themselves. Reading body language, understanding sarcasm, or knowing how to initiate a conversation might not come naturally. They might prefer parallel play, playing near others rather than with them, not because they are being difficult, but because the social demands of cooperative play are exhausting for their processing style. It is important to remember, both children want connection. They just navigate the bridge to others differently. When it's both AuDHD. Now, what if you are listening to this and thinking, my child does both? You are not imagining it. The overlap is real. Studies suggest a significant percentage of children on the spectrum also meet the criteria for ADHD. The community often calls this AuDHD. If this is your child, they might have the social communication differences of autism mixed with the executive function challenges of ADHD. They might crave routine, autism, but struggle to stick to it, ADHD. It can feel like a constant internal tug-of-war. If this sounds like your reality, don't panic. It just means your child has a more complex, beautiful tapestry of wiring. And understanding this duality is the key to supporting them. You don't treat one and ignore the other. You support the whole child. Here is the most important thing to take away today. A diagnosis is not a label to limit your child. It is a map to understand them. Whether it's autism, ADHD, or both, your child is not broken. They are simply wired differently. When you seek support, remember to look for neurodiversity affirming care. This means finding therapists who don't want to make your child less autistic or less ADHD, but instead want to work with their unique strengths. You are in the driver's seat. You know your child best. Trust your gut, look at the milestones, and advocate for the support that feels right for your family. If you found this helpful, subscribe to 3 Koi Fishes for more parent-tested, pediatric guidance-based videos. See you in the next video.